So next, and this is right underneath secondary source of meaning. Here's a quote from Saussure again. Quote, "A language is a system in which all elements fit together, and in which the value of any one element depends on the simultaneous coexistence of all others." The simultaneous coexistence of all others. And I represented that by this, right? It's the connection between signs. Signification signal, and this horizontal connection. And Saussure actually draws this out in his book, and it looks exactly like this. Signification signal, horizontally connected to, sort of through this biconditional, to another sign, which is connected to another sign through a biconditional, and so on. So, within Saussure, I want to go back now and read this what seemed to be a very cryptic passage. It's, for me, one of the most important passages in all of the course in general linguistics, and that's why I wanted to spend so much time discussing it. I'll read it again. The paradoxical part of this is the following. On the one hand, the concept appears to be just a counterpart of the sound pattern. The concept appears to be just the counterpart of the sound pattern. Counterpart, the concept, signification, is a counterpart of the sound pattern. Right? Okay, so that's what he says. As one constituent part of the linguistic sign. As a part of the linguistic sign. On the other hand, the linguistic sign is itself, as the link uniting the two constituent elements, likewise has counterparts. These are the other signs of the language, right? The other signs of the language, right? Counterpart to the sign, the counterpart to the sign is a sign. This combination between the signal and the signification. The counterpart is another sign, which is another signal and signification. These are the other sides of the element, right? A language is a system in which all the elements fit together and in which the value of any one element depends simultaneously on the coexistence of all others, right? So that's what it is. It is the relationship, the example that I gave, I don't know, two days ago or so. And there's a relationship between the word zapatos and the thing that zapatos refers to, right? In the Freudian sense, Frege, the referent, right? I'm not going to get into sort of the distinction between objectual and conceptual reference at this point because that's definitely too deep, but just know that. Okay, so that explains that. Alright, so the goal. What is the goal here? What is it that we're trying to accomplish? The goal. We need to, quote from Saussure, we need to, is it from Saussure? Yeah. We need to, quote, assimilate the relations represented here by horizontal arrows. We know the horizontal arrows are secondary sources of meaning, right? So just so that we know now we can really sort of abbreviate our language, if you will. This is going to be represented, this is obviously horizontal, and this is going to be secondary. And what does that mean? It's so that is shorthand for all of that. This, obviously, you have one that goes up, one that goes down. The combination of two are sort of this upward biconditional. There really doesn't exist a symbol like that per se, but this is shorthand for our primary source of meaning. And what is that? It is the connection between the signal and the signification. Okay, secondary source, primary source. So now we can really consolidate. We can really consolidate this analysis, right? we need to, this quote from Saussure, we need to, quote, assimilate the relations represented here by a horizontal arrow to those relations represented in the previous diagram by vertical arrows. And then I drew what that would look like formally, right? We recognize that we have, and now I'll just put SS, right? We have this as primary relationships, but that's also connected to other primary relationships, right? Which is also connected to, right? So the vertical arrows primary, do I have another color? I don't have another color, bastards. Dang, I need more colors. No, actually I'm going to do it with a star. Horizontal, secondary. Primary, secondary. Okay, so I mean that should be simple now. We need all of this, right? We need this in order to understand, to make the distinction now. And this is what the point of this section, and in all honesty, section 2 is not an easy section to go through. Really, this whole series is just to make the clear distinction between meaning and value within semiology, right? The difference between meaning and value. Now we really get to the crux of it. And I'll write it here. The difference, B/ is between meaning and value. All right. This is a quote from Saussure again. Quote, the concept, which is the signification or the signified, right? The concept is linked to the sound pattern, right? So the diagram represents what the word means, right?